Let's just take a measure. Remember it was 6 feet, so just below 6 feet. So I know I'm going to put a mark right in here somewhere on the wall, 69 and a half, 70 inches or so. Okay, let's go on in to the other room, 70 inches or so. Okay, and I know it's going to be up right up in there somewhere. Measure up about 70 inches right in there. See, the shelf was just in the way. Had that shelf been up a little bit higher, I could have slipped this right underneath that, couldn't I have? But it wasn't. And now I know there's at least one stud within this 24 inches, and I can just literally knock on the wall. See, that's hollow right there. Hear how it goes up a little bit higher pitched, and it feels a little bit tighter right there. That's where the stud is. See, that's hollow again. The stud is right in there somewhere. And so I can do a little probing. I'm going to grab a little tiny nail so I can poke around a little bit, because main thing is I want to get the center of that stud so that when I drill in there, I'm going to have enough room to hit it. I don't want to just measure there and say, oh, that's close enough, and then find out when I put the screw in there, I hit the edge of the stud, or I just barely miss. I'm like, okay, which way is it from the screw? To the left, to the right? And pretty soon I'm fishing with it. I don't like doing stuff like that. Okay, so I'll have to find a nail. Be right back. Here's my little finish nail. That's the only one I could find. It's kind of a big one. But I'm just going to do a little probing here. See, I'm not hitting anything right there. It's all right. Now I can take that and go that way. And I can go this way. There it is. See, I'm hitting the edge of the stud right there. Okay, so I know it's over a little bit, and the edge of the stud is probably about right there, so the center of the stud is probably over a little bit further, and I'm going to do some more probing. I want the center. Okay, so I can take that and kind of go there, and I'm hitting, that's right on the edge again. See, because this was going in at a real angle, and I was hitting the edge of the stud way over. Okay? So I know that nail, that hole there is almost on the edge if I put it at an angle. So I know the edge of the stud is there and over 1.5 inches. I know the center is going to be about 3/4 over from that. And I can measure that there. Okay. I'm gonna go right there. Is going to be my center. And since I have my caulk gun, I'm just going to put a little bit on there. I mean, I don't really have to do that because it's going to be behind the cabinet, but, you know, whatever. Okay, so now I know where the center of that stud is, and before I just start measuring over willy-nilly from the wall to there saying, okay, I got 15 1/8, and measuring from the edge of the cabinet 15 1/8, drilling a hole, I have to remember a couple of different things. And here's what I'm talking about. You see down there, I've got some baseboard there. It's a very thin piece of baseboard, granite, but I'm not going to take that off. I'm going to push the cabinet right up against that edge. So that is a 1/2 inch, okay? And the back piece is a 1/2 inch. Now when the cabinet's there, granted 6 feet up, I'm going to screw it right tight to the wall, and it's going to have kind of a slight angle. If I really want it to be really tricky, I could put a little piece of something, a 1/2 inch strip or something behind the cabinet, let's say, you know, at the very top before I screw it in, and I could do something like that. Okay, so I'll look at this right here and make a determination. I got 15 1/8, so actually if I come over a 1/2 inch, I'm going to be 14 5/8, I believe. 14 5/8, I guess. Okay, from the edge of the cabinet, 14 5/8. All right, so now I come back over here where the cabinet is, 14 5/8. I can measure. Okay, now that's from the edge, 14 5/8, and I want to measure on the inside there, and so I can do 14 5/8 and get just a pencil mark there, and then I can measure on the inside, and that's 14, and I can come back here, measure 14 like that, and that's where I'm going to pre-drill a hole for a screw. Okay, and that one screw, I can probably get by with one screw. I could put 2 screws if I want, you know, one high, one low, or I can just put one. I'll decide what to do. I'll pre-drill that, and then I've got some sheetrock screws. And see this back piece is about 5/8 of an inch. Then I've got the sheetrock, which is another 1/2 inch, so there's 1 1/8 inches. I could use 1 5/8 screws, or I can use 2-inch screws. And luckily for me, I've got both. I think I'm gonna go with 2-inch drywall screws and ram it in there.